Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to JOECMDRAWZ. Today we've got another update for the hypothetical slime game. This kind of hypothetical slime game concept. And I've got a bunch of new slimes that I want to run through and run by you guys and see what you think. And just basically show them off. So look forward to that. Let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with the first slime that I want to introduce you guys to is this slime here. It's basically a toxic waste slime. It's a poison slime, shall I say? Sorry. It's a poisonous slime that's obviously being given poisonous items, whether it's like rotten food or kind of like actual toxic or poisonous waste, like rotting flesh maybe or whatever, and ends up developing from a normal slime up there into this kind of like toxic poisonous slime here, made of a kind of a gelatinous poisonous material. That obviously you would have that and would have to handle care with a lot of care in the game, and I like the way this one turned out. I like the kind of like these low resolution bubbles that are like bubbling inside of it, and the almost like skull like face. It was kind of difficult to try and it was difficult to try and kind of find a face that would work for this one, because it's obviously not very friendly, but it's not exactly that evil at all. It's just being exposed to very toxic or very poisonous materials that would turn into this type of slime. So it has this kind of like nice skull face on there, like I said. I really like the way this turned out. Sorry. I like the colours as well. I think that the kind of like different hues of greens make it look very toxic, very kind of like not bad, but almost kind of like you don't want to touch this slime, you know. I do know that on the last video somebody suggested that I do the the Konosuba slime, so I kind of did a little nod to that by making my own kind of like toxic poisonous slime. Okay, so that's that one. The next one I want to introduce you to is the bubble slime. Now, bubble slimes are pretty cool. The way that you would get this is you would introduce the slime to obviously bubble type or kind of like very soapy material. So maybe bars of soap you would feed it, or actual like bubbles or washing up liquid, or kind of other various chemicals that make a kind of like bubbly sort of like consistency. And over time, like maybe there's a bar in the game or something, and it will produce this bubbly slime, this bubble slime. Originally it actually started out as the rainbow slime that's down there, but I soon found out while playing with different kind of modes that I really liked this look, this kind of like almost transparent see-through look, and I felt like it looked a lot more like a bubble rather than just a rainbow, and I thought I'd, you know, save the rainbow slime for later. But that's the bubble slime. In the game, maybe you'd use this, maybe you'd sell this to families in the game that would, you know, have kids that would like to scoop up kind of like this bubbly liquid that the slime is made out of, and it would produce perfect bubbles that wouldn't immediately pop. They're not too big, not too small, and you can also kind of scoop up to kind of like clean dishes or kind of clean cars or windows or something. And like I said before, slimes naturally just regenerate, so it wouldn't really hurt the slime at all. And to keep it happy, they would just feed it like I said, bars of soap or other kind of like bubbly type of liquids. So yeah, I really like the way that one turned out. Started off with something different, but I really like the way it turned out. Okay, the next one here, this one's a little bit simpler. This is a negative slime. I've kind of got these like inverse, so I've got the this kind of like white outline, and then see the white eyes, and then the black interior. This would almost kind of like act like Vanta Black, if you know what that material is. Basically, it's the darkest substance on Earth. Anything like black that you like caught it in will just instantly just dissolve in shadows. So I thought maybe to obtain this slime you would need to kind of like keep regular slimes in a very dark or dimly lit room, absent of all light. And over time, maybe like I said, there's like little meters for all these different things you could do. And eventually it would say like maybe it's done or something, and you would have produced a negative slime or a Vanta slime. And these obviously reject light at all costs. So it'd be really good for maybe I don't know, coating surfaces in this Vanta Black kind of like substance. I don't know who you'd tell to, maybe scientists in the game, but I think that would be pretty cool. So that was just a quick one. The next one here is a radioactive slime. It's very similar to the toxic slime or the poison slime. I know a lot of these slimes kind of have like maybe like offshoots, kind of like almost like digivolutions or evolutions, like in Pokemon. But essentially, maybe you would need to introduce to more various like more toxic items. So instead of just like rotting flesh or rotting food or like literal rubbish or garbage, you would actually feed it radioactive substances. So like maybe uranium, plutonium. Maybe you could find these naturally in the overworld in like abandoned kind of like cooling towers or nuclear plants, and you would capture these guys maybe in these special containers that you obviously need to buy, and you would capture these guys, and you could use these for like you would sell them to maybe scientists or like kind of like other power plants that are still operational in the world, and you'd use them for like obviously radioactive kind of like substances to power plants and stuff like that. And these guys would go for a lot because they're very very high, very very dangerous. Sorry. I like the way it turned out. I like the kind of almost neon-ish greenish colours that it's made out of. You know, you got this nice neon-y greeny yellow that's on here, and even some like highlight colours here for zoom right in. You can see I've got a really bright yellow on the top of there, and then kind of like the shines on here. Again, a lot of these are very gelatinous. So this would basically almost like be touching pure plutonium or uranium. It's that irradiated. I'd have loved to like make some sort of like glow or kind of like otherworldly green glow kind of coming off it. Kind of almost like, do you remember Mr. Burns in that one Simpsons episode where he got injected with some sort of like radioactive substance and he became like this weird alien? I'd kind of love to have a glow on that there. But I like the way it looks like from a distance as well. If you zoom out, I'm trying to make these as obvious as possible as what they are. So when you look at them, not only close up like this, but when you zoom back out, you know, you can actually see them for what they are. And then obviously the last kind of bit on this one is 3 eyes instead of the 2, which is a classic kind of like almost mutated or irradiated kind of look. You know, like the fish in Simpsons where it's got like 3 eyes or whatever. So I really like the toxic or the radiated slime. I did want to actually put the radioactive symbol on its face, because I think that'd be quite interesting and unique, and again it would make it very obvious of what it is. But I just couldn't figure that out, honestly. So I just stuck to the 3 eyes, and I think it works a lot better, actually. So I like the way it looks. Next up there is a sandy slime. I struggled again with trying to find the right texture for this one, because they're all in like such low resolution. I've got to really get around this roadblock of trying to figure out how to actually not only render the materials, but make it obvious of what the material is. So I did a little bit of research and looked at actual, like, you know, Minecraft blocks and looking at actual sand pictures, and I noticed that I have they're like a lot of like made of a lot of different grains and stuff, like with crushed up shells and rocks and stuff in there. So they have all these little speckles in there, and that's sort of trying to replicate here with all these different single like pixel digits, single pixels, and an overall sandy-ish colour, more of a yellowy orangey brown. And then the rest of the kind of slime is made of these like dark slimes, you know, something, you know, dark here that's like facing away from the light, and then a lighter one that's actually facing the light. But I really like the way it looks. To me anyway, it looks like it's actually like made of sand. But in the game, you would find these in like dry or arid areas, obviously desert areas, beaches. You would find them. You can scoop them up in like buckets or whatever, and maybe you'd sell these to kind of like beach resorts or kind of like maybe even families and children that you know, want a slime that will basically produce infinite slime for them. It's basically like an infinite sandpit. So maybe they could purchase it in a bucket because you need to keep them kind of like in a bucket. And they would take it home and they would put in this like this wooden frame that's for like a sandpit, and the slime would basically just naturally fill out the area, and they would never run out of sand because slimes just naturally regenerate. So yeah, they would just have to be careful of how much water they're actually putting onto the sandy slime, because too much water, as you know, with sand, it becomes very malleable, and you can actually shape it into a lot of different things, and it would actually really hurt the slime. Well, not necessarily hurt the slime, but make it uncomfortable. So you would have to be careful with that. But The way to get this one is either, like I said, to find in these naturally occurring environments, or you'd literally just feed a normal slime sand over and over and over again, or stuff that would that makes up sand, so, like crushed up seashells, rocks, etc. Maybe even other slime, sand in there as well. And they would produce a sandy slime, and this could be made for like sand castles or filling out things. There's a lot of different offshoots, and you'll see one I'll introduce in a little bit. That come from just these different materials, which again leads to a lot of potential for a lot of these different slimes. So I really like the sandy slime. Next is the rainbow slime, and like I said earlier, this one was supposed to be the rainbow slime, but it ended up kind of turning into the bubble slime. So I ended up creating a new rainbow slime, and the difficulty with making anything rainbow colored is that you've got to make it not only look good, but you have to make it look good, and you also have to use all of the colors in the rainbow. And I tried to do that. I tried single bands, repeating that. I tried different, a gradient, and nothing really worked that well, except for this one where I had these double bands of the colors going in order. I also included black and white in here as well, because I wanted to use all the colors, and black and white are often included in the rainbow, even though they're not technically colors. But besides the point, I think it looks really good. To get rainbow slimes, you would literally need to place a slime at the end of a literal rainbow. Maybe you could find these rainbows in game, and you would basically kind of have an option maybe to place a slime here or there or everywhere, kind of like in different locations, and over time you'd come back and you'd see that they've been transformed, and basically leave these slimes being basked basically in rainbow light, or you would feed them multiple colours of maybe paint or spray or multicoloured gems or whatever, multicoloured of anything, and over time they would become rainbow slimes that would basically their only one purpose is to emit rainbow lights. So maybe they could use them for light shows or something, or basically just to scoop a specific part of them, you scoop the very top of them here, and you would get a red and orange kind of colour combination, or maybe you could scoop just a bit of it, and it would gain you a rainbow concoction. I like the idea of that, and you can maybe paint with that as well. So maybe artists would like to purchase these rainbow slimes, stuff like that. I think that's really interesting. Coming up with the lore for this is really fun. So that's the rainbow slime. And next up is the Aquatic Slime, and you see this is a little bit different from the rest of these ones. Most of these have been relatively the same shape, because I don't really need to change it if it doesn't really call for it. But with the Aquatic Slimes, I really wanted to hit home, again, going back to the idea of making it as obvious as possible what this slime is. So this one is the Aquatic Slime. It's basically like a raindrop that's maybe falling down or whatever. Almost like the regular classic slime look, if you've seen this slime in is it Dragon Quest? The regular blue slime. It kind of looks like that, except it's a lot lighter. It's got all these shines and stuff in here. It's got this really faint kind of outline here as well, just to make it stand out. But these aquatic slimes will basically be slimes that have been kept in water for a very long time. It doesn't matter whether it's salt water or fresh water. They take on the properties of the water, and they be transformed into this kind of raindrop shape. And basically they're just filled with water. Their molecular structure is water. So you'd basically scoop them with buckets or cups or whatever. Completely fine to drink. In game and stuff. So maybe charities would like to purchase a lot of these aquatic slimes to feed maybe homeless people, to give them fresh water, stuff like that. Same with this next slime here, but yeah, I like the aquatic slime, and maybe gardeners would like to buy them in the game to kind of water their plants and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things and a lot of NPCs that would actually come to your kind of little slime shop, if you want to call it, to purchase a lot of these different slimes. But that's still the aquatic slime. Not really much to say about it, just a slime that's made out of water. Next is possibly one of my favourite slimes I've ever created. Now, as you can see again, it's another departure from the usual slime shape, and that's because it's made out of bread. This is a breaded slime, or a bread slime. And basically, to get this slime in the game, you would need to kind of like feed a regular slime. Again, just to reiterate, this is the regular slime up here, classic blue slime. You need to feed them either a lot of bread that you would need to purchase in the game from bakeries, or breaded items, maybe like bread rolls, you know, baked goods, stuff like that. You'd feed to these slimes, and over time it would transform into this bread loaf slime. And basically, you can literally saw and cut a like a thing off the slime itself, and it'll produce a freshly baked loaf. You know, a kind of like it basically as if you just baked the bread. That's kind of like how I imagine it would work. It's got all these kind of like these nice smell lines coming off of it, which alludes to kind of like a really nice smell that's coming off the slime. Excuse me. And basically you could use this to, again, feed homeless people in the world, or sell this to bakeries, and then in turn they would sell it to you. Maybe you could get a small bit of a profit every time that somebody buys some of this bread. You know, it would update in the game, maybe in your updates or whatever. So I really like the idea of this. I didn't just want to all make them the same kind of like shape and size. Like I said, a lot with these other ones, like the poop slime and other stuff, they need extra little bits on there to reinforce and really hit home what this slime is made out of. And hopefully I've done that with this loaf slime or this breaded slime. Other stuff on here, I've got like this kind of almost a bit of what would you call it, cross hatching, or kind of like titillation, or whatever you would call it. I can't remember what it's called. Type of shading, pixel art shading on the bottom there, just to introduce a little bit of texture, because I know bread has a lot of texture in it. I tried like sort of like, again, you know, the sandy slime, I tried more of these like single pixel kind of details on the actual face of the slime, but I felt like it was detracting from the eyes and the overall kind of like loafy shape of the slime, so I kind of like backed off from that. And just some, you know, light shading on the top there. I think it's called banded or banding shading, I don't know, but I really like the way this looks. I think it looks cool, it looks very textured, it looks like bread. It was a little bit more difficult to do. You know, I could have just colored this slime brown and, you know, be done with it and said that it was a breaded slime, but again, I really wanted to hit home what this slime was and what it was made out of. So hopefully I've achieved my goal of that one, but that's one of my favourite ones. You know, just another way in the game, you know, because you're going to be constantly buying and upgrading a lot of these materials to get a lot of these other different slimes, and you need more expensive equipment. So I thought, what better way to like create a slime that would allow you to gain other passive income in the game, and so you gain like a small fee or commissioned fee from bakers and bakeries, you know, that you sell your breaded slime to, and you get a small commission from them. So I think that's really cool. Just another element to add into the game, to add a little bit more replay value, I guess. But that's the loaf or breaded slime. The next one here is the ghostly slime, the spooky slime, or the ecto slime, however you want to pronounce it. But these would be basically just dead slimes. You would literally purchase or capture a slime, or find these guys in like older or abandoned kind of like dilapidated houses or buildings or whatever, and you'd find these ghostly slimes, and maybe you'd have to capture these guys with like rings of salt that you would leave around, and you would leave and you'd come back and you would have captured these ghostly slimes. Or alternatively, you could take the Luigi's Mansion route and just purchase a Hoover or a vacuum, and you'd literally vacuum up these ghostly slimes, but they would literally be made of ectoplasm. So they'd be made of ectoplasm, and you could basically sell these to kind of like priests or whatever, or kind of like, you know, weird goth people, or, you know, whatever, or people that are obsessed with horror, or people that want to know what's, you know, to prove there's life after death or whatever. But I really like this spooky slime. I think I went for more of the classic ghost look, where because originally I wanted to do more like a greeny, ectoplasmy kind of like ghostly slime, but I just couldn't find the right shade of green. And like I said, working with this limited space, these limited pixels, I don't really have a lot of room to kind of like not only change the shape, but like change the shape essentially without actually breaking the overall slime look. But I ended up settling on this one. It's a little bit higher than some of the other regular slimes, just because I wanted to have this like oh, you know, kind of this screamy look to it. And I kind of did these like open eyes and this like screaming mouth. I think it looks really fun. It stands out amongst the rest of them here. And even like some of the other like whitish slimes, like this milky slime here, it's a clear distinction and difference between kind of each of the slimes. And obviously I've got this like purpley kind of like outline here, just to kind of like soften it up and make it a little bit more ethereal. But you would capture them and you'd like sell these to kind of like maybe priests or pastors or whatever, or kind of like goths or whatever. Or horror enthusiasts, or like film directors that they want ghosts in their film or whatever, and you would gain a small commission that way as well. So there's other multiple ways to get money rather than just selling the slimes, you know. But I like the ghostly slime. Let me know about that. The next one down here is called the mycelial slime, or the shroom slime. And basically these would be slimes that would be kept in very dark or damp environments, and over time mushrooms would start to actually sprout on the slimes themselves, and the slime's body would slowly transform into this material called mycelium, which is actually the material that mushrooms are made out of. And these would be perfect for like mushroom growers, supermarkets, gardeners, whatever they want. And you could introduce different mushrooms to the slimes, and you get these whole host of different kind of like mushroomy related slimes, from big caps to these like poisonous ones that might be an offshoot of these original poisonous ones. So there's a lot to work with there, but I really like this one. You could literally just go pick a mushroom off this slime, and then another one just immediately grow back in place, you know. So I like the mycelial slime. That's all you would have to do. Maybe like when you expand your kind of like business in the game, you'd have to have all these different areas to keep all these different types of slimes, and you'd have to have this dark and damp room that would keep these mycelial slimes in. But I really like that. So that's the mycelial slime, or the shroom slime. I really like it. There's a whole host of stuff you can do with that. So let me know about that one. The next one, I think this one might be another one of my very favourite ones that I've done, apart from the breaded slime, and that's the demonic slime. And basically, I really, really like the way that I've rendered this. It looks dark, it looks spooky, it looks mysterious, it looks evil essentially. But what you would do is these two here are kind of like offshoots of the ghostly slime, so they're all kind of like related in that kind of like branching path. But basically you would sell the ghostly slime to these like occultists in the game that would maybe approach you after you unlock the ghostly slime, and basically that like branching path would then open out to you, and you get these two groups of people basically. I'll tie it in with this one since they're basically related. And this is the angelic slime, and basically you would sell this ghostly slime to these like occultists, or these religious zealots, or whatever you would want to call them, or evangelists or whatever. And basically you would, depending on who you sell it to, or who you sell a ghostly slime to, that will kind of like not only change the slime into either a demonic slime or a angelic slime, but it also have consequences in the actual game world itself. So like maybe more evil deeds or acts will be committed in the world if you sell a ghostly slime to the occultists and it turns into a demonic slime. Maybe this can like have powers of possession, evil, malice, stuff like that, committing horrible acts, and maybe your reputation for your business would go down, but you would gain triple the amount of money for selling it, the original ghostly slime, to the occultists. On the other hand, if you sell the ghostly slime to the evangelicalists or the religious zealots, it will turn into an angelic slime, where it gains like this cute little like halo on top there. It's all glowy, and you would gain less pay, but more good acts and good deeds would be done in the world, and your reputation would go quite high, leading you to gain more customers in either direction. More evil, more kind of like weird clients for the demonic slime, and then more good and kind of like happy and kind of like joyful customers that come to you if you know your luck would go up if you sell it to them and you get an angelic slime. So I like these two. I think the demonic slime is definitely my favourite. It just literally looks evil. I think the horns are a really nice touch. I really wanted to kind of like add a tail on there, just again, like I said, to hit home that it's a demonic slime. But I just felt like I didn't really need it, and it would ruin the silhouette of the actual slime itself. So I kind of like put that one off. Similarly with the angelical slime, I could have had like the little angel wings, but then it would have kind of like again ruined the silhouette of the slime. Plus I've already got the halo on top of there, so I think that's enough. But that's the angelical and the demonic slime, as well as the ghostly slime. So the next one here is called the Cyborg Slime. And basically this will be a slime that has travelled from the future, because I'm planning on kind of like having an item that allows you to go to the past and the future, which will open a whole branch of different slimes that you can obtain. But one of the futuristic slimes that you can get is the Cyborg Slime. And basically it's a slime that's being encased in this kind of like almost metal armor with like this robot eye that shoots lasers, and this like little antenna that like scans for life forms. Maybe it's come from a timeline where, you know, your business has become so successful, and maybe a slime uprising has started, and you can capture these ones by literally going to the future. But I think these ones are really cool. You could sell these ones to kind of like museums or kind of like astronauts or time travelers or whatever. But I really like the Cyborg Slime. So that's the Cyborg Slime. The next one here is a Glassy Slime. Literally a slime that's made from glass. Like I mentioned earlier, it's an offshoot of the Sandy Slime. And basically what would happen is you would either find these naturally in the wild by actually waiting for a specific point in time where maybe there's a storm over the desert area or beachy area, and literally a lightning bolt will strike a sandy slime, turning it and evolving it into a glassy slime. Or if you have captured enough sandy slimes or got enough money to buy an item that allows you to basically create glass. I don't know what the actual machine it is in the real world that creates glass from sand, but it's just an extraordinarily high amount of heat and pressure that's put on the sand that basically makes it into glass, and that's kind of like how it would work in the game. I like the way I rendered this. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks like glass. I still do a lot of like different like window panes and window kind of like shapes and stuff, trying to look at the colours, trying to get the kind of like the reflective kind of like thing of glass right. Because I know a lot of these slimes are very reflective. Like, it's very similar to the bubble slime, but it's different because of the different colours, and hopefully that's a little bit more obvious. But maybe you could sell this glassy slime to builders or whatever that need glass or whatever, and they could maybe heat it up and mould it and stretch it into different shapes. It would still be a slime. Stuff like that. Or you could crack it to kind of get all these different glassy shards or whatever, and then maybe you could sell them for different money or whatever. But yeah, that's a glassy slime. Next up is a musical slime. Now, these are the literally most recent ones that I've done, as in I literally did them today, but I just felt like I really had to share them and show you guys. But the musical slime is basically a slime that's been basically shut in a room or put in an environment where it's constantly listening to music and sounds, you know, either from radios or boom boxes or choir singing, and basically it turns black and it gets in this little music note on top of there. I'm so proud of myself for managing to kind of like make this like music note shape here. Like I said, with the very limited space and limited pixels that I'm trying to work with, you know, in a 16 by 16 grid for each of these slimes, with a little bit of give and take here and there. Little add-ons like this, like the antenna, the halo, the horns, you know, the music note, the smell lines, or the flies on top of the poop slime. I've got to be careful that I don't, like I said, I don't want to break the silhouette of the slime. I still want it to look like a slime, but extra details I just going to be careful with. But I really like the way I've rendered this music note, and basically it would produce sound. So you'd sell it to maybe pianists or musical bands or whatever that would need or maybe choirs that would need an extra voice, and the slime would basically produce sounds that it's already heard. You would literally feed it sound, so CDs, tapes, whatever, or put it, like I said, put it in an environment where it's constantly hearing music, and it produced this musical slime. So I really like that. Again, this might be another slime that nets you additional income in the game. Every time they do a concert or something, you get a commission fee or something. But yeah, that's the musical slime. And finally, the last one that I've done up to now is the Neko Slime, which is basically a slime that's been I don't want to make it a little bit macabre, but maybe eaten a few cats, or kind of like cat material like whiskers, or kind of like cat hairs, or cat food maybe, or put in an environment or a home where there's just a lot of cats, where it just naturally starts developing a lot of these features, these cat ears, the whiskers, the mouth, the fur. I didn't quite know what kind of cat to do, because a lot of cats are very iconic, tabby cats, which is what I actually based off this one of. Black cats are very common, white cats, but I finally settled on kind of like a ginger tabby cat. I feel like that's the most common cat that people tend to think of when they think of cats. So I've got all these little sandy stripes on there. It's got this nice bright orange colour fur on there, and it would literally feel like a cat. And you got these little ears that are poking out, and the little whiskers on there. I think it looks really cute. I really like this one. I even gave it heterochromia, and if you don't know what that is, it's very common in cats, especially when their eyes are basically two different shades or two different colours. So like blue and green, I think is quite common. And I did that, and maybe this could be sold to pet stores or whatever. Maybe cats are very rare in this world, or kind of maybe these slimes will be a lot cheaper than actual cats. But you'd still have to treat them with respect and love and care like a pet. And maybe it'd be a precursor to actually buying a cat, or they'd be less expensive. And maybe you just need them to, for the cat DNA, if nothing else. But I really like the way this Neko Slime turned out. So yeah. And again, maybe you could get another commission price if you sell it to a pet shop. You get another extra additional piece of money in the game for, not only selling the slime to the shop, but also a small fee for if anyone actually buys the pet Neko Slime. So yeah, that's all of the new slimes that have been added to this page. I really love the way this is turning out. When you look at it from a distance, it looks really cool. All these different shapes and sizes and colours and materials that I've done. And I think all of them are really interesting, and would be a really interesting and fun way to actually obtain in the game. Maybe like for the Neko Slime, you have to obtain kind of like cat fur, or maybe you have to visit like the crazy cat lady that maybe comes to you and buys a lot of these Neko Slimes, or the musical slime where you can hear like constant like birds singing or chirping or choir music coming from them or something. I don't know. I just imagine this being animated with like this little bobbing up and down, and this like antenna glowing and shining, and little lasers being shot. This little halo glowing, or this demonic like malice coming off this demonic slime. This bright glowing radioactive kind of like light shining from the radioactive slime. All these colours kind of like running up and down this like rainbow slime. These kind of like nice stink lines coming off the freshly baked bread slime. The woo kind of like sound from a ghostly slime. So there's a lot to kind of like take in from this, and hopefully I've explained each and every one of them in great detail, and hopefully they sound interesting to you guys. But that's all the slimes that I've got that I've designed right now. Let me know which one's your favourite out of the new batch. Mine is personally the bread slime and the demonic slime. and also kind of the Neko Slime, because I mean cats are cute, right? But yeah, let me know which one's yours favourite in the comments. Give me more suggestions for slimes, any kind of idea, just chuck it in the comments, no matter what it is, no matter how crazy it is. I'll look at it and see if I can turn it into a slime to add to this game concept of for Slime World. So this video's already long enough as it is, and hopefully I haven't rambled on too long. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next update. Bye! Hey there, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share my work around. I'll see you next time.